Hello.
Hey, everybody.
How's it going?
Come on in.
Amir,
Good
I
evening.
just love when you're just like you're so calm. Like the tone of your voice is so calm and like how y'all doing? And I feel like I'd be like so over the top, like, hey, how y'all doing?
I think that's a good thing, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
Don't tone it down just because I tend to be a little boring with that voice.
No, I wouldn't say that.
So how's everybody doing?
Hey Michelle, I am well.
Yeah.
How was your Easter?
I went to church.
Oh, did you?
You know, the funny thing is, it just didn't seem like Easter. Maybe because I don't have any babies or nothing. I don't know. It just didn't seem Eastery.
I feel like my nose dirty.
Is there like a weather associated with Easter? Like, I'm unfamiliar with Easter beyond school and like people celebrating it. And I mean, now that I'm kind of celebrating it with my in-laws, I'm like, okay, like this is cool. But I'm like, is there like an atmosphere that you're expecting for Easter? Because to me, it's just spring,
Yeah, it's spring, but like a little bit warm. It's not too like cold. But yesterday was kind of cold. It was kind of cold yesterday.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was growing up and we used to put on our Easter clothes, it was warmer. I don't know if Easter was later in the month. Maybe.
Is Easter on the moon calendar, or is there like it's always on this day in April?
No.
Okay, so it's because it moves. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So nobody did anything exciting. Okay. All right.
Well, I went to on Saturday. I attended the Men's Fashion Week Virginia finale. It was amazing.
Oh wow. Okay.
A wonderful show, great designers. So that was great. It was on Saturday.
Another invitation we didn't get, Will, I guess.
Oh, you're right. You were right.
It's because you didn't like her
Saturday. For me, I wasn't busy at the salon, but I had so many faces to do, and I was supposed to. There was a gospel concert here. Leandra Johnson was here. I was supposed to get her face, but baby, they said she was so difficult, and she was late.
Before.
She was late. She got to the hotel. She missed. I don't know if she missed the plane. Anyway, she ended up in Richmond, and then they had to stop her in Williamsburg because she didn't bring anything to wear. So she was several hours late, and I just did the person I did at the church, and I didn't even do her. I was booked to do her. I think someone else ended up doing it because I was doing makeup all that day driving around, and I'm like, I was wore out.
Oh wow!
But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, what was interesting about this Easter were the memes. I mean, I'm not saying no one ever shared like Easter jokes, but this year it seemed a little. All I saw were all types of funny photos of people dressing like Jesus or getting whipped.
Oh my God!
And I mean, all sorts of outfits. I think this one guy's a, dark skinned guy with a blonde wig. Everyone looks sad. I'm all like, this is so bizarre.
Like, I get a lot of Jesus memes and stuff too. Like, I don't know. You know what? To be honest, this weekend was just odd. Like, it was just. I felt like in every direct. I felt people. I felt like people were coming for me. Like in every direct. Like things were just happening. That was just weird. And I was just like, like I commented on a couple of posts and. then somebody commented back, and then it was kind of like a back and forth. And I was like, well, I'm not really trying to go back and forth. You just asked a question. I replied, and then she was like, you triggered. And I was like, triggered. Like, I don't like.
Don't somebody tell you that triggers you.
I'm not triggered. I'm just answering the question. But to me, all those words like narcissist and triggered and toxic and I think that those are gaslighting. Like all those words are those are like new found sensitive.
There's always new words. Right? It's always a new word.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a new trend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like really?
Right. That was just weird, right? Hey, Kiana. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Robin. Thanks for being here. Continue to share.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're gonna jump right into these topics because
we have so many great topics.
Just like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Who's gonna get started? It was like a ding, 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 ding all week. So everybody was trying to get.
You get the privilege of starting since we missed you last.
No, you don't. No. I have the very least impressive topic this week, so I'm going to go last. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that leaves Chanel and Amir. Hey.
Okay.
Yeah, but like mine was pretty boring. I'm pretty sure mine was mild. Go ahead, Chanel.
Well, no problem. So I noticed that this the internet was kind of lighting up with something that Cam Newton said in the interview earlier this week, and I just want to get you guys' input on what you feel about it. So I'm going to read exactly what Cam Newton quoted, because I certainly don't want to paraphrase and put any words in his mouth. So the former MVP with the Carolina Panthers was upset with many negative comments toward women after saying in an interview that some women, quote unquote, don't know when to be quiet and quote unquote, don't know how to allow a man to lead. So Newton moves on to say that I had a perfect example of what a man was in my life by my father. My parents have been together for 36, 37 years now, and it's a beautiful thing. I grew up with a 3-parent household, my mom, my father, and my grandmother, and I knew what a woman was, not a bad bitch, but a woman, okay? He goes on to say a bad bitch is a person who is just, girl, I'm a bad bitch, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I look the part, but I don't act the part, Newton says. And there's a lot of women who are bad bitches, and I say bitches in a way not to degrade a woman, but just to go off the aesthetic of what they deem is a boss chick. Okay, this is where he gets some fire. Now, a woman for me is handling your own, but knowing how to cater to a man's needs, right? And I think a lot of times when you get that aesthetic of I'm a boss bitch, I'm a this, I'm a that. No, baby, but can you cook? Do you know when to be quiet? Do you know how to allow a man to lead? So that lit up the internet. They were calling him misogynistic, all kinds of things. So my question is, do you see anything wrong with what he said? Why do you think people are so upset?
No one got that?
He was doing good up to a point, to me. And it's just preference. It's his experience, like he said, in his relationship or growing up with his mom, daddy, and grandmother. I've seen those type of situations, and I've seen those type women who are the boss bitch who want a little bit of both. They want to be treated like a woman and respected like a woman, but they want to what's the word I'm looking for? I gotta be careful. They want to like he said, they don't want to let the man lead. They verbally want to come on, man, you're supposed to be the man of the house. You're supposed to do X, Y, and Z when it's convenient for them. But on the other side, You don't tell me what to do. I make my own money. I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. You can't have it both ways. So I think in expressing himself, he was doing good in the beginning, but then he got to the point, can you cook? That's good, but can you be quiet? He's kind of treading on thin ice right there.
Okay, so for me, I am not a Cam Newton fan because I just think that, you know, he's been in and out of trouble, and I just think that he just personally has some issues himself. But I feel like I understand what he is saying, and I think in the way in which he is making the statement, there are women who are out here calling themselves boss bitches and bad bitches and, you know, all of this kind of stuff. But, you know, I heard it put very nicely the other day. I was watching this young lady and she said, you know, it's funny because, you know, we have people out here just calling themselves boss bitches and because they open up businesses and they drive nice cars, but you still got a whole car payment and you haven't even made your return on your business and you calling yourself a boss bitch. Like you're not a boss bitch until you made a return on your business.
Sounds like a hater.
Well, no, but basically what she was saying was nobody is telling anybody about that. It's just like, oh, as long as I open up a business, I have a business, I'm a boss bitch. But it's like, well, I mean, like,
who defines what a boss bitch is? Is there a universal definition for it?
Well, no, I don't think it's a universal definition, but I understood what she was saying. It was like, you know, everybody tells you like, yeah, open a business, be an entrepreneur, be this, be that, but they don't tell you the part about, okay, like you want to make a return in your business. It's not, you don't want to stand behind the chair forever because you didn't, or I'm just saying, because that's basically what she was talking about, you know, but like really like saving money, having, investing your money and things like that. Like what really, you know, I mean, like she just kind of put it in perspective for me. But anyway, back to this, and I was just trying to put that anyway. But I can understand him what he is saying as far as you know, in his opinion, I think that his definition of being a boss is like, you know, if you're gonna put it out there, then at least be able to cook. Because for him, a boss bitch is like you taking care of your home. You know, you're maintaining your home. And if I could probably say, if he is referencing things in the Bible, you know, it's like, okay, like this is what a woman takes care of her home. A woman, you know, stands behind her man. A woman lets her man lead. But I mean, you got to also be worthy of being followed. Is how I feel. Like you need to be worthy of being followed, because just because you are the man, and just because you are the man does not necessarily mean that you are worthy of being, or I don't want to say worthy, but are in a place where I need to follow you, because then sometimes it becomes the blind leading the blind. Like, and no, if I know better, I'm not going to allow you to just lead me just because it's said to be that you're the man and you're supposed to, you know, if I know better. Like, and I think that that's also where it comes in, you know, you have to speak up. It's not always that, you know, you need to be quiet. In those times, I feel like you need to say, listen, I found a better way. I know a different way. Like, let's do it this way. Like we'll even in directions. I'm just saying directions. I find myself, I feel like I'm rambling, but anyway,
I was gonna cut you off eventually.
Yeah, but I just find myself like with directions. Like if I just, like when Walter and I just find myself saying like, you know, like let's go this way. It's less traffic or whatever. You know, and then he realizes, yes, but I just feel like it has to be a give and take, and not all the time does she need to be quiet. I mean, I don't really know where he was coming from with it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think he, you know, whenever someone says something kind of general, like whenever they actually go to try and prove it, that's when they fall off the deep end, right? Like it's like, well, you know, yeah, that's why Black people are poor. Well, I mean, you know, because they're all on welfare. And you're like, I mean, how did you make it worse? You were already bad. So I think with this kind of statement, for me, a boss bitch is a woman who is confident, successful, maybe. Like successful is kind of out of that, but I've heard it used in so many different statements that I'm kind of all like, a woman who's confident isn't necessarily going to not let her man lead if that's what she wants to do. I mean, what? Like, you know, yeah, like if she's assertive, then she might ask for what she wants. And honestly, I think in a relationship, it's fair for a woman to ask for something she wants. And even back when like everyone agrees that misogyny was real, I'm talking about like 100 years ago, everyone kind of understood. They made jokes about it on radio, on TV. The girl would ask for things and the man would get it. Is he not leading? No, it has nothing to do with that. Like they were supposed to do that. That's how even the traditional relationships are kind of all like those women were confident in what they wanted from their man, who honestly was the only person in the relationship who had access to the economy. So I'm all like, I don't know. I feel like Cam just kind of talking out his ass is really what I'm going for.
I think he's just trying to stay relevant too, because he just has a lot going on, and I just think that he just comes out of the woodwork with all this crazy stuff and just says crazy stuff. But LaRon makes a good point. I'm sorry, Chanel. Hold on, just a quick second. LaRon asked a question.
Yeah.
So let me ask this: in today's age, do you all still think the man should still take care of a woman, bills, mortgage, and all of that, or should it be split down the middle? I think it's situational. I think that if because some men feel like, or some spouses feel like, I make more than you, so I should take on the bulk of the bills, or or like, okay, I'm gonna pay this and you pay, you buy groceries, you pay the water bill, whatever. I think that that's situational, and I think that a lot of gender roles are being people are letting that go. It's just like whoever is strong suited for whatever it is that they do, that's what they do. I don't think that people are I just think that washing dishes and cooking and vacuuming, I think those roles are being, it's like whoever does it is who does it.
Right. Yeah. And I think a lot of people will listen to those alpha male YouTube self-help videos where they're talking about like, and what does a woman bring to the table? I can cook. I could hire someone to cook. I could hire someone to clean. It's like, yeah, but I mean, not every man is that successfar. I'm sorry. It's just not true. It can't apply to everybody. We'll see. Yeah. What are you going to say, Chanel? I'm curious.
Yeah. Well, I kind of think he's on to something a little bit. And let me explain. My interpretation of what a boss bitch is, and don't get me wrong, because I am you can consider me a career woman. So, I'm not a barefoot and pregnant type of person. However, I feel like a boss bitch, in my opinion, is somebody that not only can, set the stage professionally, but also, in her relationship. And I'm not talking about necessarily being traditional, as far as we can still share responsibilities of the house, but I feel like a boss bitch wouldn't, cut a man down. She can put on her suit and go in the boardroom, but also be a very feminine woman as it relates to interacting with her man. So I kind of get what he's saying a little bit. Can you cook? Doesn't mean that I'm gonna be in here 7 days a week because we have businesses and we have other things too. But I get it. What he's saying is, and I've seen it amongst some distant peers, this boss thing, whatever going on, loud, boisterous, all about their business, just not really good energy. So it's okay to be bossed up, have your career, but also, present in a feminine way, talking to men appropriately, even when they're not behaving the best. I still feel like there's a way to do things. So I get what he's saying. Can you perform? I mean, you may not have to perform 7 days a week, but I mean, do you know what it is to, be a woman in a traditional fashion? It seems like he has a traditional, upbringing. There's nothing wrong with that.
Does he? Because I don't think he'd have married none. How traditional is it? Because he ain't married
a traditional upbringing. I didn't say he was living traditionally. I said it looks like he has a traditional upbringing. And he mentioned his example.
Yeah.
That's one of them type of, I'm gonna use the Bible to benefit me type in when and where I needed to.
He
Because
didn't use the Bible. He used his own example, his own household. He's from a 2-parent household where they brought the grandmother in. I'm sure they made plates for his father. I'm sure they made the plate first. You know, I
mean, to me, anytime I hear someone kind of bring up their past, they can say whatever they want. And a lot of us kind of view our past with rose-colored glasses unless something horrible happened. You know, unless there was some traumatic event. A lot of us are like, oh, well, yeah, it wasn't that bad. But then you talk to your parents and they'll give you more insight about what was actually going on. So
right.
Ken may have been running around playing with the football, and then whole time his mom was unhappy in the relationship. She just ain't
most likely.
You know what
most I mean? Likely.
So I'm just I can't take his word for it. That's why
submission in a sense. I don't being submissive, because I think ultimately that's what he was getting at is
right.
just somebody to be submissive
Girl,
to him.
catch more bees with honey.
I don't know if you all have seen it. It's been this it was a Facebook post, and it was a young lady who was dressed up as, she looked like a cat to me, but my sister said that she was a dog. She was in a cage. She was inside of a cage.
Oh.
Her and her boyfriend were role playing. And she was role playing as, I guess, the dog. She was like licking his face and stuff, and he was like down on his knees, and he was like rubbing her back and all this. So my question is, how far is too far? Would you go and role play? Do you role play, or is that something you do, you don't do, or like, is role playing like, does it keep it going? Does it keep the spice going? Like how far? Because I don't know about the dog cage. Like I can't. I'm not. She had on the ears, and she had on a little thing with tail on it, and then when he came close to her, she licked his face. I was just like, oh my god.
Man, okay, I guess I'll go ahead. I don't even dress up for Halloween. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that far. Like, Fabian had to beg me to wear a matching sweater, on Christmas. It's stuff like that where I'm all like, dang, I wouldn't even think of dressing up. And it's not that people can't. And, if I was asked, like, I'm a storyteller. I have fun. I'd have fun role playing, but it's just, I don't really think about it. And to know that there's people out there who are like, if we're not role playing, it's not interesting. I'm like, dang, how boring was it?
So you're dressed up as the mailman, and like, I have some mail for you, Fabian. It's Fabian.
Yeah, like whole time. Then I'd start thinking about it, like, why does this interest you, Fabian? You waved at the mailman when we were leaving the house. You want me to dress up as a mailman now, huh? What about the Amazon carrier? Why you want me to dress up as an Amazon guy? I seen him with the dress and the tattoos. Right? You start wondering. I don't know, man. Especially the animal stuff. When people are dressed, like you said, she was a dog. I'm like, look.
Or he was like rubbing her back, and I was just like, okay, this is too much. Like, I'm all for, maybe some role play, but I have to draw the line at some. Like, I'm not getting in no dog cage.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I think I would draw the line at animals.
Why would I not get in the dog cage?
Yeah. But if it's a relationship, if it's between you two, what is it? Pride? Is it what is it?
I think it would be my pride. I think that because what I wondered. This is what I wondered.
Join the chat.
Like, I saw a whole bunch of stuff around, and I'm like, they just buy the cage for her to get in the cage, or do they have a dog? Like, that's what I was like.
There, key to the cage
behind the dog. Like, I'm just not really understanding. Like, and I didn't want, because it was huge. It was huge.
I know.
It better have been huge. Come on, man. You put your girlfriend in a dog cage and it's for an actual dog.
They specifically buy the dog cage for her to be in there to pretend. And
then her family drops by for a surprise visit and she can't get out.
Right, and then was he like, bitch? Like, I just don't understand. Like,
no, he did not call her a bitch. No, come on.
I'm just saying, like, how far did it go? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, how far did it go?
I feel like it went far enough that he probably had a recording of an actual dog's bark for her.
So basically, what you're saying is that if your spouse wanted you to do that, the answer would be no.
I can't be a dog. I'm sorry. I could
So
be
that's a no.
no.
That's a no for you, Chanel.
Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm not. I can't be no dog. Now, if you want me to be
It's a no
something
for you.
fancy,
Amir?
now I'll be Catwoman, but I ain't be a dog.
I said I draw the line at me being an animal. I have to be an actual
You would be a
animal
dog.
on the
You would be a
line.
dog, Will.
I mean, that wouldn't be my preference of an animal, but if that the thing is, if that's what my partner wants, if you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. So you
But
have
you
to
wouldn't be
understand
concerned that that's like a stranger. I remember that show
You
called
have to
Strange
understand that-
Affection.
the moment in which it's done in. I mean, to answer the question, yeah, we role play, but we don't do that type of stuff. But it's during sex, and afterwards, we back to who we are. It's
I mean,
it's just to intensify that moment. That's it.
Don't
Right.
ask me to be a dog. I'm wishing that I might be a cat. Like I might purr on you, but I
Now, suppose they like dogs, though. They don't want no damn cat.
Yeah. Hey, come on, like there's female dogs and,
I just don't want to be
female
a dog.
cats, like,
I just
you
don't want to be
know.
a dog. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Okay.
have you guys ever had an experience with anybody who had a fetish?
Yeah. Feet.
No, I haven't.
No.
So I had a weird ass experience. So it was so weird. We didn't even ever get to intercourse because I was like, I'm out. This person wanted me to talk about being with other people. He wanted to hear that. Like he wanted me to pretend to be married,
Mm.
and that he was the side guy.
That's
No, it's a power fantasy.
That's not really weird. Like that's not
that's,
too weird
that's
to me.
familiar.
Huh?
It was a power fantasy, is what it sounds like.
That's not weird to me.
Yeah,
That's
that's
not
not weird at all. That's common.
That's common.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh.
And don't know you.
I think as much as that one, like if it were kind of the opposite, I think it was weirder, but like if he was like, I'm a married man and you're my side piece, I would just go like, huh? But I don't know, that the other way, it seems like I've heard
But
of
you
it.
know,
You wanted to be the
I wouldn't even be weird about that. I wouldn't even be weird about that. If
Yeah,
it
me
was
neither. I'm trying to make it make sense.
It was weird.
I would put on a raincoat and show up at your door and be like, "Hey, is your wife here?" Like I would.
Mhm. No, I'm telling you,
Okay,
Chanel,
we
that's
only got for
a
5
lie.
minutes because my pseudo husband be home from work.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that it would, once again, just like my other example, I might start asking some questions. But beyond that, at least we're having sex with each other.
Well,
What are you questioning, Amir? I don't understand it. Why are you having questions, Amir? What are you questioning? Does she like the Amazon guy? Does she like the mailman?
No, I just said those are very oddly specific things to dress up as. Now, if it's like both of y'all are pretending to be different people, that's different.
Oh, so you wouldn't?
I get it. I get what you're saying. You're saying like if she specifically want you
Yeah,
to take on the persona of some. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
right.
What
Like,
it is, you are specifically wanting someone to take on the persona of somebody else or something else. Is that not the purpose of role play? I'm so confused.
But I said I think both parties should be doing that. I think both parties should take on a different persona for the role play, because if the other person is still who they are, I don't know. I just feel like I would start thinking about it. That's all. And I was joking, obviously, but at the end of the day, I'm cautioning y'all is that if somebody is like, no, I want you to pretend to be my coworker for work, but they just them. It's like
I've had I've thought anyway, me like a long blonde wig and just be somebody else.
I do think that there's some animals that maybe wouldn't draw the same response as a dog. I'll say that.
I just couldn't see barking and licking and.
I don't know. That's just I don't know. Maybe that's just.
I mean, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there. I just know we can't say they're weird.
Yeah, because people do what they do.
Yeah, as long as they're enjoying it, like Will was saying, if this is what your partner wants, well, first off, if it's something that is so disgusting for you, well, then that's the time you got to move on. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Exit stage left.
Absolutely.
So
who's next? Who got something for us?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll go with this one. So, complete change of pace. This magazine, Circle of Moms, it's not a magazine, but it's a what do you call it? A blog. So they were talking about the importance of putting your mate first, even in the case when you have kids. So I'm going to read this. It says, a member of the Circle of Moms social group asked a question. How many of you make your marriage a priority over everything else other than God? She said, I'm talking before your children or your job, whether you be working at home or you go out of the house to work. She explains, by no means do I mean the children get neglected or ignored or mistreated or anything like that. Just curious as to who is first and who is second. She says, as it turns out, the Circle of Moms members overwhelmingly agree that your partner should take priority over your children. Children find comfort and security in their parents' healthy relationship, explains a member of the group. So the relationship has to be nurtured. She says, she puts her husband before her 3 children. Consequently, she puts her children to bed promptly at 8 so that her and her husband can have time together. We tried to keep one day a week open for date night, even if it's just enjoying a movie together after the kids went to bed. The reward, our children know that their parents are in love with each other, and because of that, they know that they are loved too. So I want to ask you, how do you feel? Who comes first to you, your spouse or your children?
spouse.
You said who? You said
Spouse.
who? Your spouse?
Okay. I agree with that.
Okay, that's what I said. Your spouse.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think spouse comes first, but just to add some kind of context to it, like the reason whoever it was had to clarify about the children and not saying that they're abandoned or unloved is because honestly, in order to provide that love, the foundation of that family should be there, or of the person, if it's a single mom or a single father, you know, they have to be able to say, I'm a grounded person. Like, this is how I handle things. And if you're if the children come first, it almost feels like you're undermining your spouse on the, you know, and the children rely on you, even if it's not for love, just for being their primary caretakers. And if y'all are over there trying to do something for the kids that goes against your spouse, I mean, that just sounds crazy to me.
Okay. Yeah. Now, I want to amp that question up a little bit. Shanika, we talked about it a couple of seasons ago. The scenario of the house is on fire. You come and save one person. Are you saving your spouse or are you saving your child? I'll let you think.
There's several different answers.
And you can't. We can't figure out how we're gonna get both. You can only go and get one. Who are you going to go get?
I will honor the wishes of my spouse. Hopefully, we've discussed this.
That if the house catch on fire, you're gonna save the what?
I mean, I think in healthy relationships, we talk about what happens if somebody has to go, you know, or what happens. I mean, it may not be specific as far as a fire, but you know, I would probably honor the wishes of the spouse and the covenant. I'll probably do that.
Are you saying that you will go get the child or the spouse?
I'm saying I'm going to keep the commitment that I made to the spouse and do what we decided to do.
What did y'all decide, though? We want to know what did you decide to do?
Oh,
that's the easy way out. Did y'all decide that you would go get him or you would go get the kids? What was your decision?
For me, it would depend. Honestly, if I had to make the decision independently, it would depend on other factors. Like, is he sickly? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm just saying.
It's a hard question. Yeah, it's a very.
I mean, I would have to consider other things. How old are the children? I would have.
You don't necessarily have all that time to think about.
Yeah, you wouldn't have too much time to think.
But I would. Come on, now, y'all don't think about stuff like that?
I just think that, like, so I could approach it like from different philosophical standpoints, right? And I say utilitarianism would say that you should save the adult, your spouse, because y'all can have more kids at the end of the day, and you could begin anew. But my heartstrings, forget about philosophy. It's like nobody wants to see like any children, but a child pass away, and it's I think especially from a male, cis hetero perspective of a male, I'm over here like I just can't imagine saving Fabian and then having her saying, "You should have got the kids," like immediately. Then I'm just like, dang. And I think that's kind of what Chanel was trying to get at, right? Like, I hope y'all had a conversation of who we save, because God forbid you save the kid and then everyone's looking at you sideways, or you save your spouse and everyone's like, why would you do that? Those kids burned in the house. Everyone knows you let the kids die in a fire and saved your wife. And I just think a lot of people expect you to make that sacrifice and sacrifice a person who's more important to you, just in general. But those kids needed you and your protection. And if you don't choose them, I think everyone's going to pretty much agree. We get it. That's your wife, but you let the kids die? You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be a hard sell. I don't know. Shanika, you got a different perspective? You getting your husband.
Well, I'm still kind of back on the, who comes first, the spouse or the children. I'm kind of back on that because I was just kind of like thinking about it, and I think that I mean several people, you all have said, and several people have said that your spouse comes first, but for me, I just kind of think that it's situational, sometimes, because I think that I just know that Walter and I both have sacrificed time with one another for her. You know what I'm saying? Just because she needed something a little bit more that we both felt like was more important than what, just kind of went up on the totem pole than what we just kind of like had going on or whatever. And, and sometimes I think it just ended up being for the greater good of of her, so, I mean, people may not, just maybe like, no, it's still I mean, I think ultimately we do put one another first, but I've seen like with us that it was a lot of times we have put, Asia first. Now, as far as who would I get, I think that, and it's funny because Walter and I and Asia had this conversation that when I had her, if it came down between her life or Walter's life, and I said, who would you save? Whose life? It was like, okay, somebody's gonna die. Like, do you want us to save the baby, or do you want us to save your wife? And he said, me. He was like, because we could have another baby. And then my baby was like, Asia was like, well, Dad, it don't matter because I was a winner. I won anyway. It don't even matter, whatever. So, but I think that I would save her because, I mean, even though you make the point that, you can have more children, but it just depends. It depends on how old you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you may not can have more children. So I just think that at the end of the day, like if it came down to that, I think that I would want her to, because she's still a representation of both of us. Well, our children would be, you're their representation of you, and that they would, live on to carry your legacy. So I think that would be the, last thing.
Always a tough question.
Yeah. Okay, who's next?
That's interesting that you guys asked that question and you talked about it, because that's what I was saying. Like, we need to have this conversation.
Yeah, I don't know what my husband. I mean, I don't even. I think that he would say to save Asia, he would save the kid. I think, I think that would definitely be his choice too. And he would probably get her. So I don't know. What you think? What would you say, Walt? So Chanel sent this video. Let's talk about this video, this last video you sent. The guy.
He said, I don't know if anybody can play it, but he basically said that if he was in a relationship, his girlfriend could not have Instagram because Instagram was cheating. He said, especially if she's someone who posts attention-seeking content, I guess, maybe form-fitting clothes, provocative things, and understanding that attention is going to come her way, then that is a form of cheating if she knows that. So he was saying that, nah, if you my girl, you can't have Instagram, and if you do, he considers it a form of cheating.
And
I kind of agreed with him a little bit because I felt like that not necessarily should you not have Instagram. When you're in a relationship, your content needs to change what you post online. Now, remember, he was saying, especially if she's in, I forgot the word he used, basically posing and posting pictures of her in like skimpy clothing. Mm-hmm. Why would you do that if you're in a relationship? So it may not be intentional cheating, but it could definitely invite some DMs. So I think that when you're in a relationship, and that's male or female, your content needs to change if you're going to be online.
Do you think attention seeking, the term, as is used to describe mannerisms, clothing, do you think that's subjective?
Well, like you said, unless she's making money, like she's a model or doing something like that. But if you just, Jane Doe,
the reason why
you don't need to be posing in the bikini with your ass all out. You don't need to do all that. If you're in a relationship, when you're single, and that's what you want to do, even if your intention is not to lure the attention from men or anybody else, you should be conscious that you're in a relationship and this is not behavior that your partner would be, comfortable with.
So even if those are pictures and things like that you posted before getting with this person?
Absolutely. If because you're now with this person, so they should actually come down out of respect.
Sure.
Everybody don't know when you got with this person unless you post a picture and say from this day on everything is posted because I'm now in a relationship, but you're not going to do that. So I think you should clean things up just out of respect, not out of a chore or task, but you should want to do that.
Sure.
I mean, y'all ain't saying nothing. You just keep asking him questions.
Well, me personally, now because Shanika has something to say. I know.
I said it, child. Like, I don't have
okay. I'm speaking from my own personal experience. Now, it wasn't in a relationship, but it was in a friendship, and I was told that I was an attention seeker. Now, let me give you some background. Y'all know I'm older, and I don't go outside naked. I don't, when I go outside, I'm fully clothed. I don't expose my body outside. I work, but I do not wear oversized clothes. Now, I don't wear clothes I can't breathe in, but I do wear clothes that would show my figure. And I was told because of that, I'm attention seeking. Now, I don't ever put on my clothes and say, well, I'm going to have them looking today. That doesn't happen.
Honey, I'm going to say
that. Is attention seeking subjective? Because I don't ever put on my clothes with the intent on, let me make them look today. That doesn't happen.
But some people do. Some people, they turn around, look in the mirror, smack their ass. I was like, yeah, he's the one. They're doing it for the attention. So if you just purchase your clothes because you like the way they fit on you, then no, that's somebody else being insecure looking at you saying,
And that's what I say. Thank you very much. And thank you, Fabi.
But there are people who go out and they purposely go out and buy the shortest skirt because they want that attention coming at them.
Thank you, Fabian, and thank you, Will.
You're welcome, all baby.
Because that's what I said.
Yeah, I mean, to me,
I just feel like I just felt like in a sense that his whole like I just feel like he said something about the price tag. Take the price tag if she have a price tag. Like I didn't even like that he said something about whatever a price tag or something. Because I feel like when are people are not items at a store that you're purchasing. Like who keeps putting all these like you belong to me and now we're in a relationship, I owe you. You
Will.
Stop soliciting. What?
Wait a minute, Will.
I think it's subjective just because of this kind of fact, right? I mean, at the end of the day, there are people out there who are attention seeking, right? I mean, it's not like that's impossible. There are people, women and men, and in between who are out there posting photos in order to get attention for whatever reason. I just think sometimes people kind of overuse it. In the same way, Shanika, you were saying that everyone keeps saying triggered or all these other words, and they don't really know, they're not really thinking about what it really means. Because to accuse someone of attention seeking, it's like, okay, oh, well, you posted a photo and it's provocative. And then that's it. Like
nigga, your pants so tight. I'm trying to figure out which one.
You said his pants are so tight that you see his print. Is that what you said?
Yes.
But I mean, if he bought them that way, if he bought them to fit.
But what I was trying to say was, you can't call me attention seeking if I see your dick print in your pants. I'm thinking you need to go up a size because I'm not.
You need to go up a size. That's funny. That's true though. I mean, there's men out there who are doing the same thing. I mean, even like Fabian used to joke when we first started dating that I was posting thirst traps. And I mean, I was like, ha ha ha. But I thought about it, and to Will's point, I was like, well, I really don't need to post this photo. And there are women who are liking it, regardless on if they are interested in a relationship with me or not. I did consider that, and I said, you know what? I really don't need to take any selfies. I already didn't, that much, but. When I did, I felt like I was looking good. You know what I'm saying? And it's up to me to decide on if I want that attention or not. And although I wasn't posting them in order to get attention, they did receive some attention.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think that motivation of calling someone an attention seeker versus just admit that you're insecure about the attention that they receive. Even if they're not seeking the attention. You
are insecure about who you are, and I just feel like you have some insecurities about you, and I just think that that's a way that you're trying to make somebody feel some type of way about themselves.
Yeah, because you don't want the competition that you think may be coming.
I don't think it's the competition. I think that some people sincerely have self-image issues, and they project that onto other people. They're not comfortable in their own skin. They're not comfortable in their own clothes. They're not comfortable with the things that they wear or whatever. And they want you to feel, they somehow want you to feel like, oh my God, like, okay, well, what's wrong with what I got on? Like, oh my God, it's okay, like, okay, you don't like, okay, well, maybe somebody else thing. Like, I just think that,
Amir.
I told y'all that she was joking about it. I didn't say she told me to stop. I said I thought about it.
You was like this.
Walter never, and it's very rare that I post pictures either. But Walter, like most of the time when Walter posts pictures, it's in his uniform. I mean, and it's comments for days, and on top, I mean, like days and days and days of comments of people like him in his uniform, and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, but I don't. It's very rare that I post pictures, but when I post pictures, like whatever it is that I got going on, whatever it is I have on, whether it's fitted, whether it's loose, like I meant to post that. I meant to post head to toe. I meant to post that.
Yeah, you meant it. You didn't just accidentally post it like Nelly posted that video.
Yeah. I meant to But I don't know. It's just weird. I just don't like the whole. I mean, I'm just feeling like more and more. I just feel like people are taking ownership of other people, and it's just bothering me. I'm just feeling triggered about people wanting to take ownership of people. Like I own you, and you can't talk, and you can't move, and you got to call me every 5 minutes. And when you leave this place to go to the next place, you need to call me. And you know,
well, I think it's just built upon the older versions of owning people that have existed, you know, not only in America, but, you know, in the world for years, you know. I mean, millennia, people have owned other people literally as slaves. And I mean, now we got technology and we're monitoring those people. I mean, we have access to people 24/7. I mean, like, I remember when, you know, obviously there's more technology from before this, but I'm just talking about cell phones were new. And we were complaining then about how we had so much access to people. But I mean, you couldn't even call. People were like, oh, don't call me until 7. You know, it's not free, right? I mean, like, now it's free all day, all night. Someone who wants to talk to you can reach out, even though we've kind of established rules about it. When it comes to controlling relationships, you know, you can't, like, that transcends the technology, and the technology only made it worse. Something that already happened, you know. I mean, you know, all the celebrity couples with a controlling partner, you know, we all heard about it. That was years ago. Now we got a cell phone where it locates you, like, you know, oh, Chanel, what you doing at the McDonald's?
right.
Like, how you
Right.
know? Oh, my phone.
Turn your location on. I'm following you. Like, turn your location on. Like, I'm like, no, that's a little stalkerish. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Very.
but about relationships and you know, people doing things that I think I just kind of perceive to be a little weird. Like, have you all ever just like on your job, and people choose to celebrate your birthday, or you come in and somebody, you know, people have a cake for you and are balloons at your desk, or balloons, you know, and they just do this surprise thing and you didn't really know that, you know, that it was happening or whatever. You know, all of us have had that happen. You know, we come in and somebody has surprised
For that
us.
reason, only HR knows my birthday. And you better not put it on no birthday of the month board either.
So it's this guy that was in Kentucky, and he told his coworkers not to celebrate his birthday, not to do anything because it gives him anxiety, and he's suffering with anxiety, and that it's too much for him. So he asked them not to celebrate his birthday, and they chose to celebrate his birthday anyway, and he sued them, and he won $450,000.
He sure did.
From the lawsuit because he told them not to celebrate his birthday and they did it anyway. Like, has that ever happened to you and you really didn't want anybody to like celebrate your birthday or like give you anything or like?
I just don't want to go to no potlucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if it was a surprise birthday party and they're like, oh, Mir, did you try my artichoke dip? I'm all like, that doesn't even look like artichoke.
Right.
You know,
Well, let me give you a little bit background. I think what really caused this lawsuit to balloon to that size is because he suffered from an anxiety disorder. He shared that with his boss. During the party, he had an anxiety attack and he had to run out of the party, get himself together. And then he left the party the next day. Because he left the party that was thrown in his honor, he was called into the office and chastised and told that he basically was disrespectful to his peers. And he was then sent home for a couple days, at which point he had another anxiety attack. And then he was terminated.
God damn.
So all those things, you know, the medical part, you know, causing the anxiety attacks, which could lead to more detrimental things health-wise. And then the firing of him, you know, he was sent home and then he was terminated. So but the truth is, all of it stemmed from a party that he said not to have.
Yeah, he deserved that money, man. I'm sorry. Can you imagine that meeting? HR calls you in. We have to let you go.
Right.
What happened? You didn't want to celebrate your birthday, and that's not our culture here.
Your coworkers
Hold
put
on.
all this work into this. They were trying to celebrate you, and you were disrespectful. Come on now.
We
He
call
asked-
that a trigger, Shanika.
Yes. But I don't know. People, I mean, and I guess you just really have to honor people's wishes when it comes to, certain things like that. But
Okay, so for me, a job I worked in the past, they wanted to do every like month. We would like pay for dinners, or not dinners, a lunch, and everyone would put some money in, and then they would bring the food out, and everyone would eat whatever it was that the person who was running it that month got. And it was cool. It was all good. Sometimes you'd be disappointed. It's like, man, I gave y'all $10 and we got Jimmy John's. All of them are veggie. Not everyone made the best choices, but it wasn't the end of the world. I mean, everyone put their money in, and we'd be all right. But this one time they wanted to do like a celebration, like, so not just the food, but like celebration for someone's birthday. And the person didn't care. They were like, oh, I don't really need anything. It's cool. They were a lot older, getting ready to retire. They were like, it's cool. I don't really need nothing from over. But the person went overboard. I mean, they're buying all sorts of stuff. They were asking me for like $30. And even worse, now, no, I mean, a lot of people were on board. They wanted to celebrate birthdays. They wanted to do lunches, and everyone was excited to get an hour off of working, whatever, right? But I wasn't even going to be in the office for that week. So I'm like, I'm not participating. I'm not even going to be there. So if y'all want to put money together, you can count me out. This guy is emailing me, sending me messages like, you still haven't contributed. And now the party has passed. Everyone said it was boring. Like the food wasn't that great. The cake was too expensive. People were kind of mad. And he's over there asking me for money every day. Like, until I had to sit down and say, you're not getting anything from I don't care what happens. And if they would have fired me over that, no way. You know what I mean? Definite lawsuit. Like, so sometimes people take things a little too far.
Right. Well, I've never really worked anywhere where anybody was like, they were doing birthday celebrations and whatnot. I always used to like when, like, at the salon, when Walter would like send me flowers or send me balloons or stuff. I used to like that type of stuff. I don't know. I just thought it was cute. And I was like, oh, he sent me some Valentine's stuff or, whatever stuff to show up at my job. But that was like the extent of that. But I do think that people need to, acknowledge your wishes. And if you don't want to do that, then let it be. Like, it's okay. It doesn't mean, it's okay. It's just, that is what it is. But anyway, all right. So I think that's about wraps up our relationship. Yeah.
Wraps up our hour.
Plan. So pick a good animal, or don't pick the Amazon guy or the mailman or
chat woman.
Pick a
The Amazon truck.
A blanket.
Nice, darling.
I think we had a good time. We had a good time today. The chat, everyone in the chat was commenting.
Great.
Amy apparently hates potluck too. I'm just saying, man, don't try the cheese dip. You know what I mean? Like, don't do it, y'all.
I've never really seen enough potluck.
Yeah, I don't like potlucks either. People let pets walk on the countertops and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
This is the one thing that did me at a potluck. I was working at a job, and this young lady, she had made something, and then she was like, "Oh my God, I got a burn on my stomach." And when I burnt my stomach when I was pulling the thing out the oven. So he was like, "How did you burn your stomach when you were pulling your thing out the oven?" She was like, "Oh, because I didn't have no shirt, and I didn't have a shirt or nothing on." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's it."
Also, just to clarify here, that does not answer how she burned her stomach.
She didn't have any clothes on. So when she
okay, so she would have burned her clothes.
she wouldn't have felt it. Would have got close to her shirt.
Look, I'm just saying, Shanika, have you ever burned your shirt from the oven? I mean, if it's hanging down, if your shirt is hanging from your body, it could possibly get caught on something. You wouldn't feel it. You wouldn't even know. But I mean, unless if
No,
it touched your
she's
body,
like, I didn't have any clothes on.
yeah. I'm just saying that it burned her belly. I'm saying the fact that she's naked is already one thing about sanitation.
Right.
But the fact that she still got close enough
To burn her
picking it
belly.
up out the oven to burn her. What?
And you know what? And this may be a little too graphic, but all I can think of Big Mama. And you know, back in the day, they have real big breasts and they hung low. So if you one of them people with those kind of breasts, what were they doing while you was bending over the stove?
Yeah, that's so it bypassed everything hanging to get her belly. I'm like, no way. I mean, I'm just saying it's already disgusting, but then to add that, I'm all like, hold up. So how did you burn your belly? Because
I didn't even want to know. Don't worry, I didn't even want to know. And I knew
you
she had
just didn't eat it.
a couple of animals. She had a couple of dogs, cats, and stuff.
no.
Yeah, I think.
okay, Amy is right here. Yeah,
Well,
not y'all.
This
All
is a
right,
great night, y'all.
out with us. Thanks for joining with us. Have a great rest of the week, and we will see you all next Monday.
Yes, we will. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.